Hi there, Year 3. I hope you're well. We're going to do some French now. You were very good last week, so I've got high hopes for this week. So, if you have a little look, today we're going to be learning about the word order of French in sentences. It's not quite the same as English. And then we're going to be using some simple adjectives to describe things in writing. Okay, you got that? Sounds a bit complicated, but it's not. So the first thing we're going to think about is, can you remember any French animals from last week? Okay, I'm sure you can. Rack your brains to see if you can think of any. Right, have you thought of a few? Okay, here's a couple that I thought of. So I've got chat, cat, chien, dog, coquenelle, ladybird, that was quite tricky, and mouton, which means sheep. Okay, so remember as well, we put le, la, or les in front of them, and they're all versions of the direct article. So today we're going to start looking at something slightly different. So first of all, remember, in English, when we write noun phrases, we usually put the adjectives before a noun. Is that right? So we'd write the big dog. So we've got the direct article, adjective, noun. Or we might say the black cow, or even the black dog. However, in French, this word order changes. So the adjective usually goes after the noun. That's right, it's a bit mind-blowing, isn't it? But the adjective goes after the noun, not before it, in French, usually. So in French, you wouldn't write the big dog, but you would write the dog big. Le chien grand. Grand obviously means, that's right, big. The chien grand. The dog big. I know it sounds really weird, but it's just a different way of writing and saying things. It's just a different language. However, you need to be careful of those masculine and feminine nouns, which we learnt about last week. So, the spelling of most French adjectives, not all, but most, will change depending on if the noun is feminine or masculine. Okay? So, if the noun is masculine, you use the adjective without adding any letters, usually. So here I've written le chat grand, the big dog, obviously, or the dog big, as you say in French. And the word grand is the masculine version. I haven't added anything to it, I haven't taken anything away. So grand is just a usual spelling. However, if the noun is feminine, you need to use the feminine version of the adjective. So often, again, not always, you have to be careful about this, the feminine version of the adjective has an E added to the masculine version of the adjective. Sound complicated? It's not, don't worry about it. So the feminine version of big is grand with an E. Can you see? I'll put it in red there for you. So the feminine version of grand is grand, add an E. So we know cows are feminine, so we would write la vache grande with an E, the big cow. See, it's not that hard, is it really? You just have to remember again whether those nouns are masculine or feminine. Okay, now, if you're describing a plural, so if you're describing a group of cows, for example, it gets slightly more complicated. So when you're using adjective to describe a plural noun, you need to check if that noun is feminine or masculine. All right, so we know cows are feminine, so the adjective grand, big, is the feminine plural. So look down here. So this is the masculine version, and I've added an E because we're talking about a feminine noun, cows, and then you have to add an S as well because you're talking about a group of cows. So we've got bronze. Okay, so put the ES added to the end. Les vaches grandes, the big cows. Excuse my pronunciation, it's not very good, I'm afraid. I am trying. Okay, so here we've got a group of French animals. Les animaux de la ferme. Can you see there? Oh, it's gone back now. I'm going to go back quickly. Won't be a second. There we go. Sorry about that. So we've got some group of farm animals. We've got le chien, la poulet, le mouton. You can read the rest as well. Okay, so we've got lots of different French animals there, farm animals. So what we're going to do today is we're going to pick an adjective to describe some of these animals. Okay, let's go on. So what I've done here, and you have got one of these in your resource pack to help you, In fact, in your resource pack, you've got a slightly bigger version with colours on in case you wanted to choose colours too. Is we've got lots of masculine and feminine forms of adjectives. So over here in red, you've got the English version of the adjective. So here, I've got the word small. And when I look here, I've got the male version, petit, and the female version, petit, and the masculine plural with an S, and the feminine plural with an ES, which is what we talked about before. Now you need to be careful because, as I said before, some of these adjectives do not follow the rules we discussed. Okay, so some of the rules are different. So here's one here. So the word big or fat. Therefore, the masculine plural doesn't have an extra S because it already ends in S. Now, I've left this word in, beautiful, stroke handsome, because it doesn't conform to the rules, but it's very interesting. So if I go over here and look at the male version, it says beau. And if you look here, it's the same spelling as beautiful. Okay, so the word beautiful comes from the French word beau. It's just always a bit interesting to learn where words come from. I'm always telling my classes this, so I just thought you might like to know. So that's the masculine version. We wouldn't really say beautiful, we might say handsome. And then we've got the female version, which is belle. This always reminds me of Beauty and the Beast. I don't know why. So I just left that in because it's quite interesting to see where sometimes our English words come from. So you've got lots of different adjectives there. So what your mission today is to choose 8 farm animals. Well, it doesn't have to be 8 farm animals, it could be any animals, because obviously they've got to be written in French, and it could be groups of animals as well. Don't forget, you could have a group of, I don't know, donkeys or sheep or something. Then you're going to choose an adjective or a colour, remember that's on your resource pack, to describe each of your animals. Now, you need to write this correctly, remembering to spell the masculine or the feminine or the plural version of the adjective, which are on your resource sheet, okay? But remember, do not forget, in French, the adjective comes, that's right, after the noun, not before. It comes after the noun. So, what I did earlier was I thought, what can I write about? I know I'm going to choose duck. So I've got a lovely picture of a duck. And then I thought I'm going to choose adjective. Let's have ugly. Reminds me of the story, the ugly duckling. So, what I'd write in English is the ugly duck. Obviously, in French, I'm going to write the duck ugly. I've had to choose the masculine form of the word ugly. So I've written le, it's men, canard vilain, the duck ugly, or the ugly duck. So that's what you've got to do for 8 animals of your choice. Just remember to use the right version of each adjective. Okay, now how you set out your work is up to you. You might want to do like I've done here. You might want to write the English version, draw a little picture, and then write the French version after it. Okay, I think that's similar as we did last week. Good luck. I'm really looking forward to seeing all your work. See you soon. Bye-bye.